Hello distinction students, this is your tutor Miss Zulu. Welcome to today's comment session where we're going to look at warehousing. But before I get into that, remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more sessions. Okay, what is warehousing? So, warehousing is an aid to trade concerned with the storage of goods from the time they are produced to the time they are used. Okay, so the other way you can define this warehousing is a process of storing goods in a designated location until they are needed. Okay, so mostly it helps businesses manage and fulfill customer orders sufficiently. Because why? When we talk about warehousing, we are talking about storage of goods that are seasonal, goods that you will use on a later time. So those goods are readily available, but they're just stored somewhere so that in case there's a customer that needs them, you just get them from the warehouse. Okay. All right. So now let us look at the importance of warehousing. Warehousing provides storage of raw materials, partly finished goods, and finished goods. So when you talk about warehouse, so there are different things that can be stored in a warehouse. When you talk about raw materials, meaning they are keeping raw materials that are used to produce a certain product. Okay, they already have them in stock, meaning it's easier for them to make a product. I would give an example of, let's say soap, right? You have all the ingredients, all the raw materials required for them to make, for example, boom, meaning whenever they need to make boom, there's no need for them to take time because every other raw material is already available. All they need to do is put the ingredients together to produce that particular good, right? When you talk about finished goods, they are already finished products that have just been stored. Everything is ready. What is needed is for those goods to just be removed from that warehouse for sale. Okay. Warehousing provides storage for seasonal goods. When you talk about seasonal goods, we talk about things like raincoats. Those are seasonal goods. We talk about a jersey. So like right now, we are not yet in the coat season, right? But there are most companies that have in their warehouses, they have raincoats, they have jerseys, so that when that period, when June comes, for example, we're going to have those jerseys in stock because they're already in the warehouse just waiting for that season. When rain season comes, the raincoats, the umbrellas will be out of that warehouse because that season has come. So seasonal goods. Okay, warehousing allows production of goods to take place ahead of demand. Okay, warehousing reduces losses of goods due to theft and bad weather. So when you talk about theft and bad weather, every company that has a warehouse make sure it's secure. It's in a secure place, a secure environment. It's protected 24/7. No other person out of that company will have access to it. Okay. So stores goods awaiting payment of customer duty, such as goods stored in bonded warehouses. Okay. So let us now look at the types of warehouses. We have the first type, which is the manufacturer's warehouse. So when you talk about the manufacturer's warehouse, these are warehouses or deposits owned by manufacturers where they store raw materials, spare parts, tools, and equipment required for manufacturing processes. Okay, so the other way you can define this manufacturer's warehouse is this is a facility where a manufacturer stores raw materials, components, and finished products related to their production. Okay, so these people are the people that produce, right? They're the people that make those raw materials into finished products, right? So they make sure for each product that particular company is producing, they make sure they have the raw materials always in stock so that in a situation where they run out, they will not take time to produce that good. Why? Because they already have everything needed for that good to be produced. Okay. Let us look at the functions of these manufacturer warehouse. The first one is to provide storage for raw material that enables production of goods to go without interruption. Okay, to allow production of goods to take place in anticipation of demand. Okay, to provide storage of finished goods in quantities enough to meet the demand of the customers at all times. Okay, so these, most of them I've already explained them in detail. To provide storage of seasonal goods such as Christmas cards and raincoats. Okay, so mostly these these manufacturers use warehouses to manage their supply chain, to ensure sufficient production and to meet customer demand. Okay, so some of the examples I can give of companies that are which have manufacturer warehouses in Zambia. I would give an example of Trade Kings. I would give an example of Zambian Breweries. I would also give an example of Zambeef. Okay, there are quite a lot, but I have just given these few examples just to give people a glimpse of what we are talking about, or to make us understand what we are dealing with, okay, in this type of warehouse. Okay, so the second one we're looking at is a wholesaler's warehouse. All right. So when you talk about this wholesaler warehouse, these are large warehouses owned by a wholesaler, where they store goods bought from manufacturers awaiting sale to retailers. Okay, so if you follow back the videos that I posted on the topic wholesaler, when you talk about a wholesaler, this is a person who buys goods in bulk from the manufacturer and they break them down to the retailers, right? Okay, so when you talk about these wholesalers, they're not the actual producers of the product. They are just the people that buy those products from the manufacturers, but they buy those products in bulk so that they can sell them to retailers, those people that own large retailers or small retailers. So mostly we know what wholesales are, right? Okay, so when you talk about examples of these wholesalers, we can talk about mostly markets. Okay, we'll talk about Chisokoni market, which is in Kitwe. We can talk about the markets that are in Osaka, or Lumumba market in Dola. Okay, and so on and so forth. There are quite a lot. So let us look at the functions of a wholesaler's warehouse. To allow the repackaging of goods into smaller units to suit the requirements of a retailer. Okay, so this one allows, let's talk about maybe somebody who owns a small shop, right? They go to the wholesale, they buy things that they need. They just buy small quantity things, okay, from those wholesalers, because remember, the wholesaler buys in larger amount from the manufacturers, while they come and break it down to smaller amounts to these retailers. Okay, to allow the preparation of goods for sale, such as blending, branding and bottling. Okay, so to allow particularly small retailers to inspect goods before they buy. Okay, so mostly they need to make sure, they need to check the expiring dates and if the product is in good shape and all that before they buy. Okay, to prevent theft and damage of goods. To provide storage of seasonal goods such as jerseys, umbrellas. Okay, so these wholesalers sometimes buy products ahead of the season and just keep them in their warehouses and wait for that particular season to put them on the market so that those retailers can come and buy them. Okay, to act as reservoirs for retailers, suppliers. Okay, so now let us look at the retailers' warehouses. So these are warehouses owned by large retailers such as Pep stores, ShopRite, where they store goods bought from manufacturers awaiting to sell customers. Okay, so again, when it takes you back to the other lessons that we had, there's a time when I posted a video teaching about retail. So when a retailer is a person that buys goods in small quantities from the wholesalers, right? Okay, so when you talk about these retail warehouses, these retailers also have warehouses where they buy their products from the manufacturer, right? And then they also keep them in their retail warehouses, waiting for that particular season, or maybe buying enough stock for people to buy. Let's say there's a product that's on demand and they just buy in bulk, so that they keep them in their warehouses awaiting for market. Okay, all right, so the examples are that of such retail warehouses. We have ShopRite, we have Pick and Pay, we have Pep, and so on and so forth. So those have like their small warehouses, right, where they keep certain stock. And I can also talk about shops like Mad, the famous Mad boutique, right? Mad has a warehouse where they keep their clothes there, awaiting for season, or maybe awaiting for stock to run out in their shops, and then they just go to their warehouse, pick up those goods and take them to their different branches, right? Okay, let us look at the functions of retailers warehouse. So to enable goods to be prepared for sale by retailers, breaking the bulk into small quantities to suit requirements of customers, pricing of goods, blending and branding of goods. So when we talk about this one, we have a lot of situations where you go to a shop, right? They tell you there's a retail price and also there's a wholesale price. And when you look at it, mostly a wholesale price is always a bit lower than the retail price, right? So they've made it flexible for everyone, okay? They've put it in such a way where if someone wants to buy at order price, it's available. And if somebody wants to buy it in small quantities, it's also available, suitable for everyone. Okay. To reduce losses of goods due to theft. Okay. So to allow the stocking of large quantities of goods for supply into branch outlets. Okay. So now let us look at the bonded warehouses. Okay. So bonded warehouses are used for the storage of durable goods on which customers' duty has not yet been paid. They may be owned by private individual companies or by government. Okay. So when you talk about this one, we can also say when you talk about the bonded warehouses, so a secure facility where imported goods can be stored without paying customer duty until they are ready for distribution. Okay. So we can talk about mostly those people that are in business, right? So those people that are in business, they order things from a different country, and then maybe probably there's a company which has a warehouse where those things reach. So when those things reach, they need to be cleared for them to be distributed to the person that has made order for them. So meanwhile, they'll be stored there awaiting for clearance by the people that have ordered those things, right? Okay. So function of bonded warehouse: to allow the preparation of goods for sale, such as bottling, blending, grading, and branding during storage. Okay. To enable goods to be offered for sale while in bonded warehouses. Okay. So to allow promoters to payment of customers duty and economize on working capital. All right. To allow the importers to transfer payment of money to duty to a new buyer. Okay, so like I explained, I would give an example of clearance where you order your goods through a company which has a bonded warehouse, and then for you to get those goods you have to pay the clearance, and then those goods will be out of that warehouse and ready for sale. Okay, to allow exporters to avoid payment of customer duty. Okay, so the other one that we're going to look at is public warehouses. So when you talk about public warehouses, these are found at railway station, bus station, airports, and seaports where goods in transition are stored. Okay, so here I can talk. We can say this public warehouse, it offers storage space, services to multiple businesses on a rental basis. All right. So when you talk about the function of this public warehouse, to provide storage of goods awaiting transport at railway station, airports, and seaports, to protect goods from losses due to thrifty or bad weather. All right. So now let us look at the cold storage warehouse. So when you talk about the cold storage warehouse, we're talking these are cold rooms in which items like fish, fresh meat, vegetables, fruits, and so on are stored. So mostly when you talk about this storage warehouse, it's a facility that's equipped with refrigeration or freezing capacities to store perishable goods like food and pharmaceuticals. Okay. So when you talk about I'll give an example of Hungry Lion, right? Mostly we are told Hungry Lion is comes all the way from South Africa with their own chicken, right? Because we know Hungry Lion is about chicken and fries. So that chicken already is everything is already done from South Africa. So meaning it's a perishable product, right? So mostly it's transported in those trucks that have refrigeration, so that those products will not go bad. They will be transported without them going back to the destination where they need to be taken. Okay.